My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big RHOAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I knew it. Another Herdat Media production.
Hey, Chantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
You guys, we have quite a bit to talk about on this episode. I feel like because we had the Jacqueline interview, Chantel, we haven't really spoken in a week, of for a regular episode since last week.
I know. Kind of like it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Ew, stop it.
Kidding.
We read a review from someone, and it's funny because so many of you disagree because you guys are always someone had said to us, let me first tell you what this review had said. It said, hey, you guys, get to it. I know you guys want to chit chat and stuff, but get to it. And so just so you guys know, on the bottom or on the description of the episode, we will put, hey, we talk for the first 10 minutes about this, skip over 12-minute mark to just go straight to the recap. So just so you know, we will do that. But another person, we had put that up, and another person had said, or I don't even know if we put it up, but someone said, we can listen to 1 million people who do these recaps. We listen to you guys because we like you guys talking about the personal stuff. So that's not going to stop. But I understand if you're a new listener, you're like, wait, I don't get it, or something of that sort. So it'll always be on the description, what minute mark to move forward to if you don't want to listen, because we do have a couple of hot topics to share before we get into the Orange County reunion tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
So we did the Jacqueline Laurita interview, part 1 and 2. We made it to top shows on Apple Podcasts. I think the last we had checked, it went to 11. So we're proud of ourselves for doing that because we don't have our accounts, to promote it on All About TRH. So we appreciate all of you guys for listening to it. Everybody, haters, doesn't matter.
It.
Yeah, exactly. But Chantal, you know what I'm most excited about?
What?
I'm most excited about when these housewives that are, that just were on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, like a Melissa, for example, or I don't know who's not going to end up coming back. I'm so excited for the moment that, we know for sure they're not coming back. And then we see them on podcasts and we say, oh, but you're not a housewife anymore. Why are you going on podcasts trying to make yourself relevant? Because here's what happens is, and what I hate that happens, and we just did an interview with Lizzie from the Lizzie from the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Which is not coming out for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's not coming out for a few weeks. And we mentioned, we were the ones reaching out to her, and she was like, I was kind of on the fence because I hate going on interviews and then people, or, I didn't want to do it because someone might say I'm trying to be relevant, and that's not the case, like you guys are asking me. And we 100% agree. And what I did see is from some accounts that posted about the Jacqueline interview, people were like, she's trying to be a housewife. Why is she trying to be relevant? Why is she still talking about the show? But I can't wait for people's, favorite or not so favorite person, like a Melissa, because I don't think Melissa's coming back at all, to go on podcasts. And these same people, I want that same energy to go and be like, why are you doing a podcast if you're not on the show? You're not relevant. You guys, we ask people to come on our podcast. They're not begging to go on podcasts. So
yeah.
we ask people. So I do think it's so annoying because I love to hear about people's experience on the show. And clearly you guys do too, because we rated so well. It's not like we post episodes every single day to help our ratings. We hadn't posted for a week and then we just posted this and we rated so well. Our episode did so well. We can look at our numbers and it did so well. So people like to hear about this stuff. And I mean, again, with our Siggy Flicker interview, that went number 1. Housewives don't even get number 1 on Apple Podcasts. So yes, it is a big deal. And people do like to hear it. So I just hate when people say that, and I just can't wait till these housewives we find out that they're not coming back, and we all know they're going to do podcasts like throughout the years, and I'm hoping I want to see that same energy from the haters that go so hard about it and don't realize that obviously we're the ones reaching out to these people.
I feel like it's like their only way to like be haters about it, like, is making those comments other than just listening and actually hearing what this person has to say and their experience
Yeah.
of what they went through and like getting like we're getting some tea about like production and like what maybe what really had happened. So it's like just listen and like be
Exactly.
entertained.
That's the problem with the world is like they'll just see that this person's on there and then they're just going to talk shit. But it's like, no, why don't you listen and then you'll understand why we asked them to come on, and that's it. So anyways, I just had to say that. But overall, I think it was great. Chantal, you think the interview went great and everything?
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, I've seen nothing but like great reviews and great feedback and even like on YouTube where like YouTube people it can be a scary place. Like sometimes it's the people's like responses and everyone has just been loving it. So I think like people said they could have listened to like part 3, part 4, part 5. So
Yeah, I would love to
yeah, they
have her
wanted
back.
more.
Yeah,
And
I thought.
you and I are very good about like we'll be texting each other during an interview when we're doing it. We're like, "Oh, this is good." Like we can tell
Yeah,
immediately if something cuz like if we're entertained during
yeah.
the interview, especially when it's like when you're asking the questions and having to like really actively listen, sometimes you kind of like are not paying attention also at the same time. But like the whole time me and you kept saying like, "Oh, this is good. Like we know this is going to be great. People are going to like it."
Well, Chantal went missing for an hour after, so
No, it was like 30 minutes. I was like doing this during the
I
work
know,
and
that's a big
Jacqueline
deal.
likes to talk, which is great. We
I
wanted
love
her to.
it. I know.
Yeah.
Had I not had to pick up my kids from school, because the time difference. The problem is because even with Lizzie right now, I had to ask one more question because I had to pick up my kids from school and it's a 3-hour difference. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's always so hard. But I would have loved to ask Jacqueline, and we did have more questions, but I
Oh,
had to
yeah.
go pick
We
up
didn't
my
even go
kids.
you guys, we didn't even go through probably
Yeah, I know.
like
Like
there's
half
probably
of it.
35% more questions that we could have asked.
Yeah, yeah. Um, So yeah, another thing that we wanted to talk about was Dr. Nicole is not coming back to Miami. Allegedly, that's what they're saying. They're saying there's more to the story. We did just record a Patreon episode, and I did mention I do feel like it has something to do with her boyfriend, whether he wants to film or not. But I like Dr. Nicole for Miami. It's very hard to be a new housewife and to be good. And I think she's just like how I think Katie and Jen were so good. I feel like Dr. Nicole was such a good casting decision.
Oh, 100%. And like Anna came at such a great time for the reboot of Miami. So like it's not like
Yeah.
she just came in like she like is like, the second part of second of OG. So it's like sad to not see her come back. And it's like it usually is like the people that are not as that don't need it as much, like are the ones that leave and not get fired, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But
Um, I
maybe
I
she'll come back later. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. I'm just like I have this weird thing where I think her husband or her boyfriend said whatever. Is he her fiance? He's her fiance. Well,
Yeah.
like he said, I don't want to film. You're gonna film by yourself then, and she is like scared to lose him because I would be scared to lose him too. Have you seen her life? So
I know, literally.
I don't know. I just have like some weird feeling about that because I can't see her for any other reason wanting to leave. Um, so it was so funny. We were looking at our reviews and someone had wrote, Roxanne, didn't you write a book? And she's like, I had purchased it years ago, but my daughter took it and read it. And all of you guys were going off and you guys were like, wait, what the hell? You wrote a book? And I just think that we have to touch on that because I just thought it was so funny. Because yeah, I did do that, Chantal. Do you remember?
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? Do I remember? I literally like I made you like have a launch party and like I made a cake for you. Like I should find the picture. It was like
I, we do have
the cake.
pictures from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Roxanne's always like her whole life, like since she was like 10, she was writing in diaries, always writing stories, like doing weird shit. So like this
Yeah.
blog, like she's always been like a storyteller. And yeah, like I think it was like the era when like new romances were like a thing and like the new novels. And you were like, you know what, I can do this. And like you really wrote one and
Well,
it was a good book.
I'm telling you, I always had written books. Like I always, since I was a kid. So it really is crazy. And it was in 2014. And my husband came up with a name. It's called Shattered Depiction. And I remember it's about, a couple and their like little son who, they go through all these obstacles. And I remember he had a type of cancer. And I just remember my mother-in-law at the time, she was not my mother-in-law at the time, but she had read it at the time that my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, had cancer. And she had called me bawling and she's like, "Why'd you write this?" Because I had published it before we found out my husband had cancer, or my boyfriend had cancer at the time, whatever. And she called me bawling because it was, this couple is facing their son having cancer. And then like my mother-in-law, is facing her son having cancer. So yeah, I did actually write that. And yeah, Chantel did have a premiere party for me and everything, and it was super cute. And it is crazy that we've never talked about it, or we've never like brought it up. Um, but the ones who know, like the people who have been with my blog from the very beginning, they know, and they did support me when it came out. But yeah, I've never brought it up. But it is a book that, I'm definitely like, when I read it, I was like, this is so good. And like, I'm not just saying that because I wrote it. I'm sure there's things now as I'm older that I would have changed in it, because in
Yeah, and like
2014.
you didn't have like an editor or anything, so like I'm sure like grammatically there's
Yeah,
like
I'm
probably so many
sure.
issues, but like the story
I
and
did
like the
have an editor, but they weren't that great. They there were still some things that I saw that I'm like, wait, you didn't correct this. So,
yeah.
but the story, like you're saying,
The
is
story
really
was
good.
yeah, the story
Yeah.
was really good. Like I remember maybe I even like teared up or something, but it was a really good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago that it was published, but I think I wrote it like 11, 12 years ago. So I was
I think
literally like 20,
I was in like
2021.
I was like in a film class or something like in college, and I remember having to create a film, and I literally took the story and made Roxanne like give me the story, and I
Yeah.
like made it into like a film
Yeah.
for the class, and
Yeah.
I didn't do so well because I think I just didn't know how to write it.
Yeah. I'm dying. So it's called Shattered Depiction. It's still on Amazon. So if you do, because some of you guys ended up buying it because you had us link it. So if you do, just like let me know what you think. I feel like I would be too
Wait,
scared.
do you even get the sales for it? Like, where does it show up?
I don't know if I would still I would assume, right?
Okay, where is it? Like, let's find out before you start sending the link out.
I know. Well, still, like, I don't yeah, like,
I know.
I feel like I do because randomly, like, one year because it's been so long, so I haven't gotten it in so long, we haven't talked about it. I mean, it's been 10 years, so, but it is a really good story. I'm not just saying that, but I'm sure if I went back and read it, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so awkward," because like, it's so long, but yeah. Well, oh, actually my husband's cousin hit me up like 6 months ago. She was on an airplane. She's like, "Dude, your mother-in-law gave me this to read in the airplane." She's like, "It's actually so damn good. What the hell?" And I'm like, I wish I
It's
like
all,
wrote
and
it now."
I know it's 138 pages, so it's a very easy read. Like you literally can
Yeah.
read it in one sitting. I'm looking at it right now on Amazon.
I feel like
It
it would
says
be a really good movie.
it
So
says
where are my film
purchase.
producers?
It says purchase on December 11th, 2014 for me.
Oh, see, yeah, it's so crazy. It's so long ago. So yeah, I just had to bring that up. Um,
You should read the bio.
about me.
No, about the book.
Oh, go ahead, read it.
A young couple faces shocking obstacles on their road to love in Roxanne J. this is Roxanne's
Oh my
old
god.
last name, touching new novel Shattered Depiction. Even though Arya and Nathan, like, where'd you come up with these names, Roxanne? Fall in love under less than ideal circumstances, their bond seems unbreakable. But when Arya becomes pregnant, the couple finds themselves at a crossroads, one that drives a wedge between them even after the birth of their son Noah. Soon, Arya and Nathan must discover exactly what their love is made of when a tragic event alters the foundation of the relationship. Can the couple rally together, or will the stress and heartbreak prove to be too much?
You're such a witch, dude. You're such a witch. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, so there's that. Anyways, gosh, we have to like pay attention to the number marks before people yell at us. By the way, you guys, my mom heard last week's episode.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you guys, the next day, because we talked about, like, apparently, like, maybe her hiding money because we were talking about OC, and she called me, she called me, she's like, "I can't believe you guys said that I did that, I never did that," and I was
The
in
fact
shock.
that the fact that you would say you never did that is so
Okay,
scary
let's
to
not okay,
me.
I don't want another call tomorrow, so let's not.
I know, but, like, I just can't. Well, Chantal calls me up and she's like, "Dude, your mom listened to the episode." I was like, "The episode that we released, like, late last night? It's still the morning today." And she's like, "Yeah, she's sick." My mom had COVID. She's like, "She's sick. She had COVID." So she called me and she was like, I'm like, you
Words
know,
are
she
words she, like, wrote down, and she's like, "I listened to all your episodes, stupid."
She hasn't brought it up to me at all. I saw her yesterday, today. She hasn't brought it up to me. She did bring up the Jacqueline interview, and she was like, "That was Jacqueline." I don't know why she does that. Like, she'll know who it is, and then she'll like still ask. I'm like, "Yeah, mom, Jacqueline from New Jersey." Like, and she's like, "Yeah." She's like, From the old day." I'm like, "Yeah, mom." Um, but yeah, so she might call Chantal today. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's my fault. Like, she was like, give me a notification every time you get a new episode. I can She's like, give me a notification. Oh my gosh, she probably wants to kill us because my mom hates when we
Yeah,
make
do
fun of
not
her
do that.
accent.
Yeah,
Mom, we're
uh-huh.
totally joking. It's all fun and games. It's funny. Haha. Like, I have an accent. Everyone makes fun of how I extend my words, mom, so we're fine. Okay, anywho, let's get into Orange County because I actually have a lot to say about this episode, even though I feel like Chantel's over because it's the same thing with Shannon and Alexis. Before I get into that, we need to talk about, and I think Laura had written this on one of our stories on All But Rach, but the downfall of Tamra Judge because she truly is going through a downfall. So, when she was fighting with Jennifer Aiden on social media, she had brought up how Jennifer like speaks to bloggers. Side note, I do want to point out that 90% of housewives speak to maybe a blogger, a fan account, just fans, just to show their appreciation. And that's normal. And that's things that they will all own. Like, I don't think anything's wrong with that. That's completely normal. There's people who will even send merch. I think that stuff is weird. I think once you start sending merch, start giving people money, I think that is kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. I think that's weird. Or I think people who accept it, it's like super weird. But,
Not merch. I think merch can be
yeah,
something
not
that, like,
merch. Yeah,
yeah,
not merch. Okay, yeah, I
yeah, not
guess not.
merch.
I mean, if it is to like someone who I don't know,
Like, I think
maybe
if merch is like you want them to, it's like, "Hey, here you go," or like you want people to like post about it, like I think merch is
it
okay, but anything
depends.
else, yeah.
I guess, yeah, I guess it depends. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's like it depends. If this is like some like good neutral person who like you can tell they're just like a positive like fun person, like I feel like you send it to them, it's like fine. But if not, and they're kind of like psychotic and you can see that there's like tendencies, maybe not. I don't know. But anyways, so Tamara like had called out Jennifer. She's like, I don't even know you. We talked about it, and it was clear as day that she knew her because she's been talking about her all summer. Anyways, Tamra ends up DMing someone, the same person who's talking shit about Jen Aiden talking to bloggers. Just so you know, Tamra be in a bunch of people's DMs. Again, I don't think anything's wrong with it, but don't come for someone. And that's like even like with the drinking and Shannon stuff, like it makes me think like Tamra. I guarantee you've like drove drunk, not drunk, but you've drank and then drove, and you're the loudest one in the room. Because I feel like the people who are the loudest about that do those things. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I don't know if that makes sense, and that it could absolutely not be the case at all. I'm just saying, but so Tamra, she goes and DMs a fan account, basically saying that she is trying to get someone fired on the show. We actually find out that it's Jen that she's trying to get fired because Jen ended up tweeting about it after. So Tamra's literally DMing people like she has some pull. Like Tamra, you got fired yourself off the show. How the hell are you going to have pull? Don't you think if any housewives had pool, they would all be super happy and a lot of people would leave the show? Don't you think if Lisa Vanderpump had pool, maybe Kyle would have been off the show or whoever would be off the show? You have no damn pool. You were fired yourself. So, anyways, so Tamara messages like a random account, like a fan account, like they're not even like bloggers, nothing. And she was like, "Hey," she just says this, like, there were some parts cut off, but she says, "I was referring to someone on my cast that was commenting horrible things about me and my husband. Then when I reported it to Bravo, we're not allowed to do that per our contract. She's crying to people saying I'm trying to get her fired." Well, if you're calling Bravo and you're hyping something up, so I guess Ryan had responded to something that Tamra had said, and Tamara's been talking mad shit about Jen and Ryan. Keep in mind, she was good with Jen. And so it's like, wait, why are you suddenly churning on Jen? Because you have something against her to talk shit. And again, Tamara likes to focus on everyone else because no one knows what's happening with her and Eddie. Where is Eddie? In all these videos Tamara is making, where is Eddie? Where
I
the
know,
fuck is Eddie?
literally.
I'd like to know where, if that was my husband and I was making those videos, he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? If my husband was doing that, I'd look at him like, what are you doing? Like, enough. You're so cringe right now. This is embarrassing. But anywho, Eddie sees everything that's happening because Eddie also will be blocking people too. So she's DMing that, and that's exactly what she did. Tamara's the loudest mouth. Tamara says the most. Tamara's sitting there doing Q&As on Twitter, on Instagram, on all that stuff, talking about her whole cast. But if someone's husband makes a comment, she's calling Bravo, trying to get someone fired, saying that she's getting someone fired, and then she's also telling a fan account. Like, why is she sitting here telling this like random account that's not even like a blogger? They're not even like, why is she telling that account that? Then they go and they post it, and Tamara sends them a DM right away, and she's like, "Did you post our DMs? Can you please delete?" So here you
Okay.
were. So here you were sitting, and then this person shows it. Here you were sitting here we retweeted it on X, by the way, where you can go take a look. But here you are talking about someone else. Speaking of bloggers, here you are talking to an account saying exactly what happened, what you did, and then saying delete it because they put it out there. Like Tamara is just like a walking hypocrite.
Oh, she does that all day, and
I know.
that's why it's like a lot of people are not fans of you is because you're not authentically yourself.
No, and you
If
can
this is
tell she's
yourself,
struggling.
it's not
Yeah,
okay.
then and that's why no one's a fan. Because if this is really who you are, like, God help you, we need you to go back to season 10 where you, like, get baptized again because holy moly, this is a lot. And I feel bad because at sometimes, like, okay, is Tamara like, we get what Tamara's trying to do. She's trying to make a show, but how sad that this is like, we live once and this is your whole life to try and make this, like get in these fights, like stress about it, get involved in everyone else's life. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I don't know. Like she just doesn't look good too. Like she gets so much backlash. She doesn't really have much of a fan base. She gets so much backlash. Like, is it worth it? Like, I feel like that puts so much stress on me.
Yeah, no, not for me. It would not be worth it.
No, it's too much. Like, I mean, everyone, I haven't saw one person defend her. It's not like she even has like a fan group that will, I don't see, there's nobody defending her actions. Nobody. So, um, by the way, did we pay attention to the time mark for people to forward? Because I don't think I did.
Yeah, well, like, the problem is, like, we did some hot topics and then we got into personal, so, like, it's kind of all over this place, but it was like 13. It was
Okay,
like
well,
13-minute
whatever.
mark.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's talk about the episode. Um, by the way, Shannon to me is very strong. For still willing to face Alexis and go to dinner with all the ladies after the day that she had, because I would not be able to have that energy. I would be like, I'm not coming to this dinner.
Yeah, I agree, but that
Are
she
you
wasn't
doing
even.
something? You seem
No,
distracted.
I'm just trying to remember because I just watched this, but I was like, she didn't even go. So like,
Shannon did go, but Alexis didn't go.
Alexis didn't go. I know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the intent was that Alexis was going to go.
Yeah.
This is when June, we have our friend. I hope he's listening to this episode. I'm gonna tell him that we gave him a shout out. But he's like, so he's like, the best part about listening to your episodes is when Roxanne's talking and then Chantal's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like she doesn't even know what the hell's happening.
No, I
So
do, but I'm just trying to
that
think
was
about
the
it.
moment, you guys. That was the moment. I'm about to text June right now.
No.
Okay. Alexis calls John and even putting him on speaker to me is very extra. I feel like none of the ladies do that. I get a FaceTime, but she'll literally put him on speaker.
I just like again from last week to this week, it's like we're like watching the same thing. So like I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, no, we can tell you're over it, mama.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone is too.
Alexis calls John. Oh wait, I already said that. I'm sorry. Alexis
Yeah.
has to, oh wow. Alexis has, that's my karma, right? Alexis has to be the most delusional human alive. because she's so not self-aware. Because Emily tells her what Gina told Shannon, and Alexis gets defensive right away. And I'm so over her getting defensive. Meanwhile, the ladies are pre-gaming before dinner, and Shannon orders a drink next to Tamra. And you guys, unpopular opinion, I wouldn't have ordered that drink if I were Shannon, especially while I sat next to Tamra, just because I don't even want to deal with the aftermath of what she'll say and how she'll make it I have a drinking problem. Like, Shannon knows how Tamra is. And maybe again, like, yeah, her drinking is showing, like, I clearly don't have a drinking problem, or I wouldn't be drinking, but I'm just like, this is a time where it's not necessary. It's just not necessary while you're sitting next to Tamra.
Well, Tamara says that. She ends up saying, like, I know
I
Shannon
know.
so well, and like she's doing this because like she doesn't want people to think that. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I just go off of like we know so many people, I've said this so many times, we know so many people that have gotten DUIs and I still see them drinking and I don't think that's weird for them to drink. But yet if you're
Mhm.
on this platform, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah. Back to Alexis. So she's like, there's nothing mean about what John and I are doing, or the videos would be out by now. But it's like, you have said exactly what's in those videos. So, I mean, that is very mean.
And just
Um,
you talking about it is what's the problem. Like why keep
yeah.
bringing it up?
And Alexis is like, no, but Alexis is like, why is Shannon keep bringing this stuff up? I'm like, are we like, I can't, you're right. I can't watch this because I can't follow it because I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening?
I mean,
Um,
she was very Delulu on Watch What Happens Live
Oh my
too.
gosh, she
So
was so bad. I wrote notes about it. But why is it so, like, why is Alexa so mad that Shannon was, quote, horrible to John if she's no longer with John? It's like, focus on your relationship, not his relationship with his ex.
the
No one
problem is
cares.
because the problem is she's so mad that the other ladies don't like him and other people don't like him and people
Yeah,
don't like him
she
because of
cares.
Shannon. So like that's why she's like it's like for her she has to go on this like, PR stunt for him to get like a better name.
Yeah.
It's
Then
like John did that, not Shannon, just so you know.
Yeah, he's so, oh my God, you guys, on Watch What Happens Live, he saw red. He's like that person who clenches his jaw and like you're scared of him. He's so
Oh my God,
scary.
did you see how scared Alexis
Yeah.
was because she calls him Johnny J and he doesn't
I
like it?
know, I know, I
And she got so
know.
scared. She goes, "Andy, stop calling him that before he gets me like before he like
Oh my
we're not."
God, he's gonna
I'm
like
just
cuss her
like,
out in the car.
"Oh my God, 100%."
She looks really good, by the way.
She's always looked good.
I don't know, like on Watch What Happens Live, I was like, damn, she looks good. Even with Lizzie, we did the interview with Lizzie from Orange County, and we did say that, but you guys,
Yeah.
she said some really crazy good shit that kind of makes sense about why people don't go for Tamara, I guess. But anyways, we're gonna release it in a few weeks. But anyways, like Lizzie and Alexis both started when they were like 32 years old, and now they're like, I don't know how old Alexis is, but I know that Lizzie's like 42, 43. To me, they look better now, and I'm like, holy moly. So I don't know. Anyway, so Tamara saying that Alexis needs just as much support as Shannon does when Shannon is actually Tamara's best friend, and Alexis has been so classless about this whole thing, literally makes me want to jump Tamara.
Yep.
This is why Tamara. This is why you're getting so much hate. And here's the thing, Tamara, she's been struggling hard with the backlash she's been getting this season. You can tell, but then she'll say things like Alexis needs just as much support as Shannon, and wonder why the world is questioning her character and how she is as a friend.
I
We
agree.
already saw last season how shitty you were to Heather, and that was supposed to be your good friend.
I don't even feel bad for Heather because like the way that Heather treats Tamara is like way too nice.
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's so weird how hard Tamara is going for Alexis because, and she was like, Alexis is not a shitty person because we've said this. Alexis is exactly the same person she was years ago. Literally nothing has changed about her. And that's when Tamara hated her. Alexis was also the same in every single relationship. So it doesn't make sense as to why Tamara is now defending her.
It's we get it though, because like she wants to stab at Shannon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Shannon just wants a night where she doesn't talk about John, and I kind of am liking Shannon and Gina being good.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the whole cast has been like that.
Yeah.
They've
Side
been
note, Kate.
supportive.
Yeah. Side note, Katie. Like when she was brushing her teeth, I don't even think she had makeup on, and I was like, my God, she is so damn pretty.
I know.
Like, okay, cool. I feel like it's a genetic thing, though. There's no way her skin, like, she has really good skin. I feel like it's genetics. Um, I like the next day when Alexis asked Heather how, the dinner was because she didn't go. And Heather didn't really engage in it and she didn't make it worse. She doesn't want to rile Alexis up. And she's like, we're just going to split the groups. And Alexis, she's so delusional. She's like, it just really sucks that you guys are trying to separate groups. And it's
I
like, no,
know.
it really sucks that John won't settle this bogus lawsuit. And John
Because,
saying,
the first episode, she did talk to you. She did try to,
yeah,
like,
yeah, and then you were she could tell you were so defensive and you were gonna always be like that. And then John saying it's amazing that people are thinking we're scheming while he's on the phone with Alexis, and Alexis in her confessional saying, "Stop creating storms." But they have this ongoing lawsuit and he won't even settle so that they can just move on. And what's scary is that Alexis is doubling down on all of this. She's saying the reason that John didn't take Shannon's settlement offer is because she's like, she said this on an interview with Us Weekly. She's like, what wealthy person would walk away from 75K? But it's like, what wealthy person is crying over 75K if they're actually wealthy and they were gifting someone who they were with at the time?
and suing them. And I'm sure your girlfriend spent like half of that for you, as she said, throughout your whole relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was
Why are you
I don't
laughing?
know, you're funny on today's episode. All right, so Katie says she's gonna have a chat with Heather to John, and I'm scared because when Heather is upset at someone, I get very, very scared because she will shut them the F up.
I know, she really is. And it's like more just like you don't want her to be mad at you.
No, that's the last person I would go after. Katie says she was told to tell Heather, and Jen gets that Heather's mind won't change, so she thinks that Katie should just drop it. And I agree because we know Heather, like you're not gonna change her mind. Um, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and like you could tell Katie's like not scared, but it's like, okay, we get it. Just like enough. Stop trying to just stop trying to make things worse with her.
But I understand why she's doing it. I say this later on because she feels the tension and it's so annoying to feel the tension. Like if you really want to move on, and I talk about this a little bit later, so I don't want to repeat it, but Shannon does show up to the meditation stuff, and I'm Shannon because my head is always all over the place that I can't meditate.
I know, but she was very disturbing, so I would
Yeah.
beat her up if I was like the other
Yeah.
ladies trying to meditate.
I am glad, by the way, that Emily is calling out Tamara for not having compassion against someone she considers a sister, a best friend. And Tamara's response being about Shannon ordering drinks is exactly why I would never pick up a drink in front of her because it's so not worth it. But I was dying when the girls were going at it during biscuit making and the biscuit maker interrupts them and she's like, "Has this brought you together?" And they're like, "Oh, can you get the F out of here?" We're like mid conversation.
I
Jen
would
is
have
living.
wanted done the biscuit class, by the way.
Me too. Oh my God. I would have never wanted to do them. Don't even put me in that meditation stuff. But Jen's living her best life during this meditation. And then there's Shannon and, the coughing. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would go crazy.
Yeah. So here's my thing with the whole Katie thing. So Katie then approaches Heather and she's like, I feel like, it was a setup. And Heather is like, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. But here's the thing, Katie feels tension when it comes to Heather. So she wants to talk it through while Heather's just saying she's moved forward. But for Katie, it doesn't feel like she has moved forward because it's this awkward tension. And I am like Katie, where it's like, I don't want this awkward tension anymore. So I know that you said you wanted to move forward, but it doesn't feel like we've moved forward. And that's why I'm approaching you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Tamara's going in on Gina, and I can guarantee she is currently texting Gina, by the way, as we speak after watching today's episode, trying to make it like that's not what she was doing and that, it is what like we know how Tamara works behind the scenes. She'll literally text and be like, just like she was texting Heather when she like shit on Heather during the show. And then on Watch What Happens Live, Heather comes on and she's like, yeah, she was texting me about that and trying to explain herself. And I'm like, oh my God, fucking Tamara. Just
But if
own it.
anyone, I know, but like if Gina sees this and sees the whole episodes and sees what she literally did to her, like and then she doesn't like confront her
Oh,
head on, I'm
Gina.
just done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so done with Gina because there's no way you're about to go off on Katie, but you're not going to go off on Tamara, okay? Because
Exactly.
Tamara was the one also hyping up Katie, but not Gina saying that she remains close with Heather to help her realtor career. But low key, I feel like Tamara did the same when she was a realtor. Remember when she was a realtor?
Oh yeah, like that was like when she like post divorce.
Yeah, like no, even like I think a little bit after, but and then she stopped doing real estate and it's so funny because she stopped doing real estate and then last season was when she went in on Heather. So maybe Tamara was, trying to be convenient friends with I don't even think Heather would use them though. I feel like Heather would use like a Josh Altman or whatever those people are.
Well, I think we ended up seeing that. Like she was saying that you wanted to become on the Altman team.
I cannot see Gina doing that because if you want to be on those teams, you have to hustle.
Yeah.
And Gina is not in the life right now where she can hustle with her kids, her boyfriend, this show, like absolutely not. Um, when Heather and Gina were talking and Heather said they have to speak later, if you saw Gina's face, she was so scared.
She
Oh
was
my
so
god.
scared. I know.
I will say I was bawling with Heather and Terry getting emotional talking about their children because I you can tell that they just love the shit out of their kids. And I just love to see that. I love to see kids have a great relationship with their parents and parents have a great relationship with their kids. I think that's the ultimate goal in life. And if you have that, that's all that matters at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
I think life
Yeah.
is you're made right there. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah, exactly. Um
But they need to
Heather
like show like teach people how to be like that because not a lot of people are like that. So it's
yeah.
wild.
Heather is willing to speak with Katie the next day and I think that makes sense. It's not the right time. Them watching Shannon or them wanting Shannon and Alexis to talk to me is wild because literally Shannon is about to fork up 75,000 to a psychopath that Alexis is raving about.
Or
Why
that
would you ever expect me?
Alexis is the one that just brought up this video that he has. So it's like,
Exactly. I'm not
no, I'm
fucking
not
having
talking to her
conversation. You got
because
me
our
effed up.
because the whole conversation is going to be around him, even though you guys think it won't be. It's going to
Yeah,
be.
no, and the way she gets so defensive, there's even on Watch What Happens Live, you can't even feel bad for Alexis because she says a dumb thing right after, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, just like fucking take some accountability." Um, so I missed I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a hot mess too in this. But yeah, I completely understand why Shannon has nothing to say to Alexis. Shannon was badass for going up to Alexis, and Alexis was like almost about to hug her, and she's like, "I have no interest in speaking with you." And I was like, "Oh my god, girl." Gina confronts Katie and Gina says, I brought you in to be my friend and you're making this about me. And here's where Gina went wrong. She was quick to throw away her friendship with Katie to appease Heather. And had she not done that, I don't feel like she would have been in this situation, but she was so quick to be like, fuck you, Katie, as long as I'm good with Heather at this point.
Yeah, I think at this point she needs to take accountability and like tell the truth of what she actually was doing. Like just clear the air of what your intention was. Cuz there is some truth to it.
I do believe Katie in regards to Gina wanting to be in good graces with Heather for her real estate connections, but I also like it's like smart. I don't think Katie's lying about that.
I know, but then did you see how the way Katie said it versus like the way it was portrayed? She said Heather help me with my real estate career, not like I need Heather to get better in my real estate career, like for her connections.
Right, but I also think that the
And like
reason
we watched this like 2 seasons ago when like Gina was talking about getting her real estate license and then Heather's like, yeah, my son is. So like maybe like she was helping her and like Heather feels like she has done that, you know, and like, it's not
but
that
I
big of a
do
deal.
think the way that it could have been taken is like Heather, like whatever, like she's saying like, yeah, Heather's going to help me or Heather does have connections. And then we take it as like, that's why you won't go, that's why you're, going after, you're against me now and you're sticking with Heather because you know that she has those connections and you're really trying to focus on your realtor career. Like that's how I would have taken it or whatever. But and then the way like she got so defensive and like made it about I'm going through so much, like I did feel like she got really defensive where it was like, okay, like yeah, you for sure said something like that.
Yeah, I think if it was it Tamara that called her out, was like, "You're
Yeah,
acting guilty."
Tamara's
Yeah.
so crazy. I mean, but that's like the petty stuff I'm okay with. Like that's
Yeah,
petty, so it's like
'cause
whatever.
it did show it.
Yeah, but I was like, Tamara, stop getting involved, dude. But like, it wasn't bad. I get it. Like, I think that that's acceptable and that's okay because it's like such like little petty stuff. But yeah, that was the episode. On to Watch What Happens Live. So Alexis and Katie are on Watch What Happens Live. I don't know why Katie is second seat because Alexis is not even a full-time housewife. So I feel like they disrespected Katie by having Alexis like on the first
I
seat.
don't. She was on the show before, you know? Like,
But
I
still,
don't.
I don't know. Um,
Like, it's your first season, like, sit your ass on the second seat.
no, I don't think so at all.
I do.
No, because like
When there's 2 housewives and one has been on multiple seasons and then also just came back, like, I think she has more seniority over the first-time housewife.
yeah, I guess. Okay, well, anyways, they both looked really fantastic that I was like, "Whew, my gosh." So whoever did their glam, really great job. I mean, they're both like pretty, so That's
Gorgeous.
fine. Yeah. By the way, Andy today on Watch What Happens Live, he didn't have a voice, and it made me realize I will never do a podcast without a voice because that was so obnoxious to listen to. And I'm
Oh my
sorry
god,
to all our listeners.
I literally thought that was like it's so hard to like listen to him.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry to our listeners that I went like a month doing fucking podcasts with no voice because that was so annoying to listen to. Now I get it. We got a few bad reviews when I lost my voice, so I get it. Alexis says on Watch What Happens Live that if we saw more things about her and her life that weren't shown, we would have a different opinion about whether she came in too hot this season. But even if I saw other things, I would still think she came in too hot based on what she's saying out of her mouth.
Agreed.
Andy asked Katie if she came in too hot this season, and she responded and said, "Listen, if I did nothing, you'd call me boring." And that was so real because no one understands how much pressure there is being a new housewife to bring it.
I think she had one of the best, like, first time housewife like reactions and experience. And I feel like everyone loves her, even though she came after Heather. I still think she's getting a great edit and people are really enjoying her.
Yeah, and there's just so much pressure as a first-time housewife. There really is. They're so quick to be like, "Okay, it didn't work out." So, I mean, I get it. That's the only way we could see more of the new housewife if they are kind of involved in some drama, you know? So, it is what it is. Anyways, I like seeing her and John's relationship blossom. So, I think she would have been fine either way, but still. Okay, so John should have absolutely stayed home. He looked even worse after this Watch What Happens Live episode. I am shocked that even came. And I'm
It felt
shocked.
like, wait, hold on. Sorry. It felt like Andy was scared of them or like scared to like really answer back to them. It was like he was like believing their Delulu. Like he was like allowing them to speak their Delulu and he was believing it.
But here's my thing is the fact that he's given a platform is crazy to me. The fact that Bravo is okay with him coming on like in Watch What Happens Live, knowing what this man is doing to Shannon's life, knowing how he's sued her. I feel like right now, if that was Jim Bellino, they probably wouldn't have let him come. I am just shocked that they're giving this man who has said the most vile things about Shannon and to Shannon a platform. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Him being on Watch What Happens Live was so disgusting to me that I don't know. I'm still just shocked about it.
And
I'm
he had the
shocked how they
audacity
allowed it.
and he had the audacity to like bring up like, oh, she lies when I like about her body images. Like he's literally saying it knowing
Oh
he
my
he
God.
100% has said something about her body before.
And the thing is, Shannon has proof of him saying that. And she has said in the past that I have proof of him talking about my body. And some of the girls have even heard it. So the fact that he's saying that, knowing that Shannon can't come out and be like, that's absolutely not true. Here's the proof. Because you know what would happen if Shannon does that? He'll put the video out. And that's what's so disgusting about him. And it's like, go live your happy life with Alexis.
100%.
Yeah, he is disgusting. He looked even worse. I don't even know. That was really bad. But he was starting to get red on Watch What Happens Live. You could tell he was getting annoyed. Katie and Andy, they said they hope that Shannon and Tamra make amends. I don't want to see that. My prediction for the reunion is that Tamra's going to call out Shannon, blast her for having a drinking problem, and then she's going to be soft at the end and say how important Shannon is to her. Tamra will then hope to move forward after crapping her on her the first 8 hours. And I just hope that Shannon does not fall for it like they all do.
100%. I agree.
Johnny J says he doesn't want a prenup with Alexis. I can't. You fucking
Alexis, get a
idiot.
prenup for yourself.
I swear. Andy says, does any part of you feel compassion for Shannon's situation after watching her conversation with Heather in tonight's episode? And Alexa's response, I do feel bad, but I also feel bad for John's daughter almost getting hit by Shannon's car, and Shannon hasn't apologized for that. I fucking cannot deal with this person. I just can't. And that's a problem is like, no, people would think you didn't come in too hot if you just like, held yourself accountable and just been like, yeah, I do feel compassion. I understand why it's hard. But
And you could
she's
just say
always like, you
people
don't
are
understand the
exes.
other side.
I know, but she's just like, you could just literally say people are exes for a reason. We bring out different sides of each other, and we hope that you guys can see that one day. Like that's all you have to do, and then like people won't like sit there and go so hard on you.
Exactly. Oh, you guys. Next week's episode, what do we oh wait, we didn't talk about Emily. I skipped a part about Emily. I did write notes
Oh,
about
and like the
Emily.
Emily and like the whole like body dysmorphia.
Y- Yeah, I don't think it was you think it's body dysmorphia?
Yeah, she thinks that, like, she thinks she's so much bigger than she is, and, like, it's because she's, like, body dysmorphic. It's like
I
she
mean,
doesn't believe what she sees and, like, how she actually lost weight, and she's just so insecure, like, because it's, like, just trauma for her.
well, here's the thing. I just went back because I did skip a part, and it said I wrote Heather's giving the ladies clothes that they'll be wearing, and I felt bad for Emily in this situation because why did the lady next to Heather have to point out that they're using oversized clothes for Emily?
Yeah, everything up to that point, like, I thought was normal, but then when she's like, "It's oversized," it's like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
ma'am, why are you talking to me? Like, who are you and why are you talking to me? I don't know you. I didn't need to know that it was an oversized shirt.
Seriously.
I was not okay with that. Emily's been
Yeah,
pissing me off this season, but I was not okay with that. And I felt really, really bad for her. And I think it's very relatable to like because you could see like she's very insecure about that and you can see like she got really hurt. And to me that's real shit. Like that happens in real life. So that felt very, very real to me.
same. I felt bad for her.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we're gonna have to cut this because Chantal and I, it's 11 o'clock. We have to film Patreon. So, I think that's all that we have for today. But thank you guys for listening to our Jacqueline interviews. We have a great Lizzie interview coming up. Let us know if there's someone that you're interested in that you'd want us to talk to.
We are
Um,
doing sorry to interrupt you, we are doing Secret Lives of the Mormons, the
yeah,
wives.
we're
What
recording
are they
it
called?
Sunday night. The Secret Lives of Mormons.
Is it they're not the wives?
Oh, the Secret
But
Lives of Mormon Wives.
yeah, there you go. We're
Okay.
gonna do that
It
Sunday
is a
night, so come on.
confusing thing.
I know, and it's gonna be Monday. You know what I did hear, which I'll probably say again on our show, is that like it was supposed to be called like the moms of TikTok or something, and then they just changed it on them. And like they had no other like they couldn't say anything about it. Because I think a lot of the people who are Mormon were not happy about the name.
I mean, I think it should have just been called Mom Talk.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that's what it was
They
going to
won't,
be.
like, shut the hell up about Mom Talk,
And I
so
think that's why they like would always constantly say it's because like that's what they thought the name was gonna be.
yeah, like, it should have well, and that would have made the most sense because The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it's a lot, and I'm like, "Is this a
And
documentary?"
or yeah, a lot of people thought that, or it's like the other shows of the Mormons, like the wives and the Mormons.
Yeah,
Like
there's
what is
so
that?
many, like, shows like that, so I don't like
Yeah.
the name at all. It is very, very confusing.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll
We'll
talk
talk about
about it
that.
Sunday, yeah, so, thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe, you guys. Obviously, our Instagram is down. Follow us on All About Terry H podcast. Help support us there and interact with our posts. We appreciate you guys so much. We hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye guys.